Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Silver Spring. My name is Eric Hernandez. I am this morning's worship associate, and my pronouns are he, him, and his. From many cultures and sexualities, genders, and beliefs, we come together into one congregation. If you're visiting with us today, we are so glad you're here. And if you'd like to learn more about our free faith or how to join the congregation, Jiwon Kim is in the back and is today's welcoming captain and is happy to connect with you. This Sunday, we honor the legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and how his ministry and teachings might shape a path forward to the challenges of today. If you have a joy or sorrow from your life that you'd like to share with the congregation today, please write it on one of the index cards provided on the table in the back. Sunday support volunteers will collect those cards after today's wisdom story, and then Reverend Kristen will include them in today's prayer. We are glad to welcome guest pianist and singer Travis Ploeger back to UUCSS. Travis created and directed iMusical at the Washington Improv Theater from 2006 through 2025. And today he works as a music teacher at Kennedy High School and serves as a member of the music ministry at Cedar Lane Unitarian Universalist Congregation in Bethesda. Now it's time to greet our neighbors. I invite those on Zoom to say hello in the chat and those here in body to greet one another around the sanctuary. Please head back to your seat and stay standing when the music starts for our opening hymn.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free, feeling of the jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. With peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. We can freedom, the world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry.
Now it's time to light our chalice, symbol of our free faith. May this light warm our hearts with love and caring and guide us in the ways of truth.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Reverend Kristen Schmidt. I serve as senior minister of this wonderful congregation, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. So this is a hard time for many people around this country right now, right here in this room, joining us on Zoom today. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe in the preciousness of every single person and that everyone deserves to have what they need to flourish. And a lot of us and a lot of our ancestors have worked very hard to make this country a more free, a more fair, a more equal place for everyone to live. But these days, that vision can feel far off. Am I right? People in our communities are living in the fear of the federal government, and it seems like things might get worse before they get better. Now, there's a song that people have sung for a long time when they're working together to tackle challenges that look impossibly large. And I have told this congregation this story before a couple of years ago, but I am going to tell it again this morning. It is a powerful story, and I know I need to hear it again, okay? And it is about a powerful song called "We Shall Overcome." So like so many songs that first developed among enslaved people, bits and pieces of different melodies and harmonies and lyrics were woven together through oral tradition. And years later, a song called "I'll Overcome" appeared as a protest song during a labor strike. But one of the strikers, named Lucille Simmons, who you see up on the screen, she changed it forever when she began singing "we" instead of "I." And they sang other lyrics too. "We shall organize. We will win our rights. We shall overcome." And then in 1947, Simmons taught it to Zilphia Horton, who taught the song to the students at the Highlander Folk School, where she served as music director. Preston and Lori Mears, members here at UUCSS, they went to the Highlander Folk School. I don't think they're here today, but if you see them in the future, you should ask them about their experiences at the Highlander Folk School. Anyway, it was there that Pete Seeger and Guy Carawan learned this song and made it famous. This song became one of many anthems of the civil rights movement, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. even quoted it in his final speech before he was killed. There's one story in particular about a set of lyrics that I'm going to tell you today. It's the story of how "We Shall Overcome" got the verse, "We are not afraid." This is how one of the founders of the Highlander Folk School, Miles Horton, explained it. The Highlander Folk School was a place where people went to learn how to work for justice. Just as some people today feel threatened when others secure more rights and freedoms, there were people back then who were afraid that they might lose out if Black people earned fair wages and were not segregated. So one evening, while the Highlander Folk School was showing a movie to a youth choir, a group of angry white men staged a raid. The lights had all been turned off for the movie, and as the raiders stormed the doors of the school, the person in charge of the projector thought fast and shut the movie off. That way, the youth choir members could hide in the darkness so that the raiders could not find them. And the raiders searched and searched with their flashlights, but the kids and the teachers, they hid themselves very well. And it was a dangerous and very scary situation. At some point, the raiders demanded that the lights be turned on, but they couldn't find anyone to do it for them. And it was then that the teenage youth choir began to sing "We Shall Overcome." The song gave them strength. Eventually, one of the raiders yelled, "Shut up!" But one of the kids yelled back, "We aren't afraid!" And the choir began to use that in the song. And that's how the verse, "We are not afraid," became part of this song. Now, it's okay to feel afraid when things are scary. It's okay to cry, to go to our parents or other trusted adults for love and comfort when things happen that make us feel scared. But there are times in life when we may need to be brave, to do things not because they are safe or easy, but because they are the right thing to do, and because our hearts tell us they need doing. And sometimes, in those moments, even if some part of us is afraid, we just might find we are filled with strength and courage. I wonder if that's what happened that night at the Highlander Folk School. And I wonder what each of us can do, even when we are in danger, when we remember that we are not alone. And I wonder if it's a lot of people rooted in faith and justice, acting with courage that will help all of us overcome one day. So I invite you to remain seated as we sing together, "We Shall Overcome."
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We are not alone. We are not alone. We are not alone today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. We shall all be free. We shall all be free. We shall all be free someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday.
Deep breath. If anyone has any joys or sorrows, index cards, I would invite Sunday Support to collect those and bring them up now. And we may be feeling afraid or overwhelmed or angry today, but we aren't alone. And though we still must work for freedom all around us, we carry within us a pathway to freedom in every moment, freedom in every breath, freedom in every heartbeat. So I invite us all now to quiet our hands and our bodies, to quiet our minds and our thoughts, to stop making that grocery list like I always do in quiet moments, so we can just take a few moments for quiet and stillness. And if you suffered a deep loss in the last year, or if this time of year marks the anniversary of a deep loss in your life, you're invited to stand or raise your hand during the silence to honor your grief. There is so much to worry about, to learn, to plan for, but right now, Right now, all we need to do is breathe in and breathe out and be present with ourselves. Right now, all we need to do is breathe and sit with our own hearts, grateful for the chance to reclaim our attention for peace and loving kindness.
Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I am worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on. Through the light, take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. When my way grows drear, precious Lord, linger near. When my life is almost gone, hear my cry, hear my call, hold my hand lest I fall. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. When the darkness appears and the light linger near, when my life day is past and gone, at the river I stand, guide my feet, hold my hand, take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I am worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home.
Breath of life, spirit of love, spark of what is possible that burns within us even as everything is falling apart. We have gathered this morning at what feels like a watershed moment again in this country. But even in history's most noteworthy periods, people still have ordinary chores to do and work to finish, dinner to cook and children to raise, joys to share and sorrows to bear. So this morning we lift those things up from among us. Alongside of all of our joys, we hold tenderly the sorrows from among us as well. May all who hold sorrows feel themselves held in the everlasting arms of this community, and may the joys shared today buoy us through the days ahead. And as we face all that is to come, tomorrow and all the days after, let us pray not just for a miracle, but to be the miracle, to embody all of the courage and commitment of the prophets and sages and ancestors whose brave legacies guide us. May the spirit of freedom, the heart of courage that sees things through to the end, that clings to faith sometimes with its fingernails, that won't back down, be in us and with us as love and our faith in a better world call us on. Amen. Blessed be.
Our reading today is an excerpt from a speech that Reverend King gave at Soldier Field in Chicago in 1966. He said, "The road ahead will not always be smooth. There will still be rocky places of frustration and meandering points of bewilderment. There will be inevitable setbacks here and there, and sunlit paths of hope will at times be transformed into dark and desolate valleys of despair. Our dreams will sometimes be shattered, and our ethereal hopes blasted. We may again, with tear-drenched eyes, have to stand before the bier of some courageous civil rights worker whose life will be snuffed out by the dastardly actions of bloodthirsty mobs. But difficult and painful as it is, we must walk on in the days ahead with the audacious faith in the future. And as we continue our chartered course, we may gain." Here ends our reading today.
The year was 1932. Musician Thomas Dorsey's wife had died, giving birth to a son who would perish just 2 days later. Out of the depths of human loss and suffering, in the midst of some of the worst pain a person can face, Dorsey wrote, "Precious Lord, take my hand," which we sang just a few minutes ago. He wrote this song about what it feels like when something so terrible happens, we don't know how to go on. When we can't face the future without some guiding presence or a helping hand. He wrote it about a grief so deep it wears us out, bringing us to a sadness perhaps even beyond tears. Have you ever been there? You couldn't even cry. There are plenty of songs out there that can prop up a singer, but Precious Lord gives you nothing to hide behind. It is a deceptively simple song, just 3 chords and simple words. The song reflects the personal pain and unique perspective of each person that sings it. And a lot of people have sung it in the last 104 years it has existed. Aretha Franklin, Elvis Presley, even Beyonce has sung this, but the singer who made it famous was Mahalia Jackson. It became her signature song as she rose to fame in the 1940s, the same decade that Reverend Dr. King came of age. Somewhere along the way, Jackson began singing it in the early civil rights rallies, including at the Montgomery boycott in 1956 and the prayer pilgrimage in Washington, D.C., honoring the 3rd anniversary of Brown versus Board of Education, which I believe was the next year. She became such an integral part of the movement that when his work took him to Chicago, King would stay with Jackson in her home there. And it was this song that was the subject of the very last sentence King ever uttered before he was shot and killed. Musician Ben Branch was scheduled to play at the rally later that night, and King said, "Ben, make sure you play Precious Lord, Take My Hand in the meeting tonight. Play it real pretty." Instead, they played that song 5 days later at King's funeral. Sometimes when we experience loss, when we are faced with the wrongness of the world, or we encounter the immensity of evil, it is impossible to try to understand it in that moment. Making meaning of loss and trauma, that's something that comes with time. That comes later. But in the moment, in the midst of the midnight of our souls, we just need someone to bear witness to our sorrow. And I think that's why this song is said to have been King's favorite. I think that's why it was sung at almost every single civil rights rally and protest. Because really, it's a song that pastors to those in the midst of pain and struggle, long pain and struggle. It's a song for people who've lost something or someone precious, who aren't sure how much more is going to be taken from them, and who need the strength and comfort of helping hands to get through. Because signing up to join the fight for freedom and justice, it means signing up for a whole lot of setbacks, a whole lot of frustration, a whole lot of loss, and as we see in the news today, often a whole lot of violence. And if a person is going to stay in such a fight, we need to be pastored to feel seen and understood, to hear others witness to our pain. But the civil rights struggle wasn't fueled by comfort and support alone, and neither can our fight today to keep our neighbors safe. The civil rights movement made plenty of time and space for grief, for mourning, for honoring the depths of pain, but it was also defined by courage in the face of terrible odds, as well as a deep faith in the unity that binds all people and the better future that we're called to create together. Now, there's a story in the Gospel of Mark. You may have heard it before. It's usually called Jesus Calmed the Storm. I think it should be called Jesus Just Wanted a Nap. It begins on one side of the Sea of Galilee, where Jesus spent a whole day telling parables to people whose livelihoods were being ruined by Roman attempts to globalize their fishing industry. Who knew? Who knew the Gospels were all about money? Anyway, it was late. He was tired, and he knew that to get any rest, he and his friends would have to go to the other side of the sea, where they would be left alone because nobody who they were over there yet. So they get into a boat, and as they were making their seaward journey, Jesus fell asleep. And soon a furious storm came and threatened to overwhelm the boat, and the disciples were afraid. But did anyone pick up an oar? No. Did any of them try to bail any water out of the boat? No. Maybe the storm was so fierce they assumed their efforts would be in vain, or maybe they were just so used to Jesus handling all the hard stuff. In the end, they wake him up, he calms the storm, and he asks his friends, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have so little faith?" Now, this is not my favorite religious story. Like, not everyone can calm thunderstorms, my brother. So yeah, I'm still afraid. But this was the story that came to mind as I was reflecting on our reality today. Because I sense an overwhelming storm is gathering all around us. And we see the boat beginning to fill up with water in Minneapolis. And we know that storm could head our way any day. And the leaders who oppose this regime, the people who still have some semblance of power to divert the rain and hail from falling on the people, for reasons that elude me, they are not doing everything they could be to interrupt this storm. They may not be waiting for Jesus to fix everything, but a lot of them seem to think all we need to do is hunker down and wait for the midterms. Meanwhile, a paramilitary force funded literally better than the Marines and with no respect for the rule of law is raining down torrents of indiscriminate violence and kidnapping and murder. So this has left ordinary people to hold on to faith with their fingernails and figure out how to keep their neighbors safe. While politicians make videos safe behind podiums and lawyers argue in the comfort of courts, PTA and union members, dance moms and soccer dads, small business owners and teachers, pastors and retirees are risking their lives and finding creative ways to bail out the water threatening to sink this national boat that we share. It is ordinary people doing the hard work. However long this storm lasts, however fierce it gets, I think it's going to change everything. And I think it's going to cost all of us something. And the only way that we are going to make it through is together, lending one another strength and joining hands with all of our neighbors. American author Kent Nerburn is a resident of Minneapolis and has written about the storm unfolding there, as well as the people's response to it. Here's some of what he posted on Facebook yesterday. To be sure, Minneapolis isn't all kumbaya. Neither is St. Paul. No city is. But Somalis, Mexicans, whites, Jews, blacks, Russians, Ecuadorians, and everyone else are all our neighbors and all are folks who call this place home. And we are joining hands with a ferocity that I'm sure Donald and his sycophantic minions never expected. Also, you cannot discount the astonishing below-the-surface organizing that took place in the wake of the George Floyd murder and is surfacing now in service of resistance to Trump's mad directives. So as you fight off despair at this unimaginable nightmare of a descent into dictatorship, remember that Donald Trump does not know what his ICE agents are going through, and those ICE agents were not trained for what they are going through. In many cases, it appears they were not trained at all. Now they are running through darkened streets, hounded and tracked by citizens, freezing in the Minnesota winter, while the deranged head, whose hands they are supposed to be, is sitting in the White House eating hamburgers and watching TV. Somewhere inside them, as the sub-zero temperatures numb their toes and the wind cuts their faces, and they stare across the clouds of tear gas and plug their ears against the relentless shrill of whistles from demonstrators who will not back down, some part of them has to be thinking, I just want to go home. Meanwhile, the Minnesotans, the ones joining hands and blowing the whistles, are already home. Who, in the long run, do you want to bet on? Reading those words gave me more hope than I have felt in a long time. We don't need to wait for a hero to bail us out. And we can't afford to buy into the nihilistic conclusion that no effort we make will be worth it. A few days ago, the organizers in Minneapolis put out a call to clergy all around the country of all faiths. Come to Minneapolis and bear witness to what the government is doing to us. After careful consideration and conversation with my spouse, I will be joining hundreds of Unitarian Universalist ministers and clergy from many other traditions for an action in Minneapolis later this week. I welcome your prayers any loving kindness or spells for protection, or even just good vibes that you want to direct toward my colleagues and me as we make this journey. And I encourage us all to remember that we are the hands and feet of love and justice. And with the help of grace and unity, we can build the power to right this ship. We may be tired, we may be weak, we may be worn, but we can take one another's hands. We can lead one another on. We can help one another stand up to unjust power, and we can lead one another home. Peruvian liberation theologian Father Gustavo Gutierrez once said, "Hope is not naive optimism. It is the commitment to struggle for a different world." Or as Dr. King said today in our reading, our dreams will sometimes be shattered and our ethereal hopes blasted. We may again, with tear-drenched eyes, have to stand before the bier of some courageous protester whose life will be snuffed out by ice. But difficult and painful as it is, we must walk on in the days ahead with audacious faith in the future. And as we continue our chartered course, we may gain. May it be so, and may we all, with our neighbors, make it so.
This congregation is possible not because we charge people a fee for Sunday services or religious education, and not because we receive money from the government or from our denomination. Everything this congregation is and does is possible because we choose to share our gifts here. All of our gifts are important, including our financial support. However you choose to make your gift, I hope you will join me in giving generously. Now please join me dedicating all of our gifts to the mission of this congregation, to create joyful spiritual community where we connect deeply, serve, and mobilize for our collective liberation.
Let us serve to... Let's try that again, shall we? Let us turn our thoughts today to Martin Luther King and recognize that there are ties between us, all men and women living on the earth, ties of hope and love, of sister and brotherhood, that we are bound together in our desire to see the world become a place in which our children can grow strong, free and strong. We are bound together by the task that stands before us and the road that lies ahead. We are bound, and we are bound. There is a feeling like the clenching of a fist. There is a hunger like the center of the chest. There is a passage through the darkness and the mist. And though the body sleeps, the heart will never rest. Shed a little light, O Lord, so that we can see just a little light, O Lord. Wanna stand it on up, O Lord, yeah. Wanna walk it on down, shed a little light, oh Lord. Can't get no light from a dollar bill. Don't give me no light from a TV screen. When I look in my eyes, I wanna drink my fill from the well on the hill. Shed a little light, oh Lord, so that we can see. Just a little light, oh Lord. Wanna stand it on up, oh Lord. Wanna walk it down, shed a little light, oh Lord. Shed a little light, oh Lord. There was a feeling like the clenching of a fist. There is a hunger in the center of the chest. There is a passage through the darkness and the mist. And though the body sleeps, the heart will never rest. Let us turn our thoughts today to Martin Luther King and recognize that there are ties between us, oh, men and women living on the earth. Ties of hope and love, of sister and brotherhood.
Please now rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, We'll Build a Land. Thank you.
Here we go. We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come, build a land where still You're leading me today. Here we go. Tidings to all the afflicted, to all those who mourn, and we give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. Come, build a land, all of the people anointed by God, then peace. We're just waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. Here we go. We'll build a land, ancient cities, from old, restoring ruins of generations. Oh, we'll build a land, people so bold. Come, build a land where all of the people anointed by God then create peace. Like waters, build a Come, build a land where the peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. stream. We made it!
Won't you be seated and join me in the words on the screen for our chalice extinguishing. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. We are the hands and feet of love and justice, my friends. And with the help of grace and unity, we can build the power to right this ship. We may be tired, we may be weak, we may be worn, but we can take one another's hands. We can lead one another on. We can help one another stand up to unjust power. And we can lead one another home. Our worship is now over, and our service begins.
Here's a song that I'm gonna teach you here. I grew up in Minnesota, in the Twin Cities. I have so many friends there, so much family there. My personal Slack feed that I have with my friends is just blowing up with all sorts of good and bad, and a lot more bad than good lately. So I over the last couple days I wrote a protest song. So we're going to try it out here today. So we'll see how it works. All right. It's called "Be the Salt," I'm going to teach you the chorus first. Okay. It's not. Hopefully, it's not too tough. So it starts like this. So it sounds. I'll sing the whole thing once first. It goes. The meaner you are, the harder you fall. One speck of salt, it might seem small, but put us all together and ice melts away. All right? All right, so here's the chorus. So here's how that chorus works. So we start like this. The meaner you are, the harder you fall. Let's hear it. The meaner you are. Now the next line. One speck of salt, it might seem small, but put us all together and ice melts away. Awesome. I'll sing the verse. Here's the first verse. Hey, you with the mask and the loaded gun, dying inside to point it at someone. Here's some advice, you're better off to run, 'cause we're not going away. Now it's you. The meaner you are, the harder you fall. One speck of salt, it might seem small, but put us all together and ice melts away. Awesome. I'll sing the second verse. Hey, you playing macho man with your camo gear, thinking you can choose by looks who belongs here. Here's some advice, you should disappear, 'cause we're not going away. This is you. What meaner you are, the harder you fall. One speck of salt, it might seem small, but put us all together and ice melts away. So here's the bridge. So I need one half of the congregation to do this, to go, be the salt, melt the ice away. Let's hear it. Nice, awesome. And the second side is going to go, salt is an echo, so it ends up like this. It ends up like, be the salt, salt. Oh, melt the ice away, be the salt, be the salt, melt the ice away, let's hear it. Salt, melt the ice away. Nice. Let's see it together. Melt the ice away. Now the chorus again. The meaner you are, the harder you fall. One speck of salt, it might seem small, but put us all together and ice melts away. One more time on the chorus. Here we go. ice. Let's do that bridge, that little echo part. Here we go. And be the salt, be the salt. Be the salt, be the salt. Melt the ice away, melt the ice away. Salt, salt. Melt the ice away, melt the ice away. Woo. Thank you. I think it works.